Hello everyone. I know most of you. For those that I don't, my name is Manny, and I'm one of the fellows for the coalition project that we've been working on. Now, first, I would just like to apologize for not being able to be live at this video conference today. I have a prior commitment, so I just try to make it work, and I'm going to be doing a pre-recording and really just explain how this website works. So, when you get the link, I've sent the link to the various directors, so if you aren't able to access the link, just contact them and they should be able to give it to you. So when you click on the link, it's going to open you up to this new website. Now, this website was made using the arcGIS online database. A lot of information was able to be imported directly into this software to create this. Now, when you open the page, there's a brief description on how to navigate the website. And so it's pretty self-explanatory. It's not too difficult. At the top left, here you have these three different tabs. Each one's responsible for a different action. So you have your legend tab, which nothing's being displayed because there's no data being presented. You have an about tab and a layers tab. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out this little box. And I'm going to go over to the about tab. And so this gives a brief description of what this is. And you could also click to find out more information about how this was made. So essentially this is going to be extracurricular activities and expanded learning opportunities for middle school age students being compared to various social factors. And now the cities that are included are going to be Whittier, Downey, Southgate, Cudahy, and Huntington Park. Now these cities are located within the SPA 7 district. So now moving on to the map, this project was really composed of two different parts. So the first half of this project, I had to spend a lot of time with my team trying to gather all the information. Now a lot of this information was gathered from using online websites. Now, the idea was to be able to search, various types of websites, including, so you have middle school websites, park and recreational directory websites, and any other type of business type of art classes, music classes, things that typically are more open to the public, but that do cost money. Now, once all that information was gathered, it was imported in the spreadsheets, and the second half of the project required me to be able to input that data into this online software. Now, with doing that, I ended up with this design. So really just briefly describing how this map works. So this is using a Google Maps type imagery. You have the street view, and you could also use the image view. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to dark gray canvas so it's less cluttered. So the idea was for this project is, if you were a parent with a middle school age student, or son or daughter, I should say, the idea would be to really be able to see what type of programs are being offered in their community for their son or daughter. Now, a lot of times you could try Googling this information, but if you type in, let's say, for example, just like middle school programs, a lot of things might pop up, but in a very vertical list type of view. Now, this is useful if you're trying to find a specific place, but if you're really just trying to see what's being offered, it's not very helpful in terms of a visual aid just because it's very vertical. This really allows you to really see, in comparison to where your house is, to what type of programs are being offered. So I'm currently at Whittier College, so I will be zooming into there. So around this area, you would see that there are various icons going on. Now, each icon kind of shows what type of program it is. Now, I try to make it self-explanatory. Now, for example, if you see the blue icon with this hat, this is going to be a middle school. Black circle with the white table are going to be a park and recs type of programs. The blue book is a library. A yellow light bulb is going to be a tutoring center. You have different type of church or religious organizations, and also sports. Now, different cities offer slightly different type of programs, and I try to keep it consistent within the different areas. And so you could kind of just go ahead and click on the different icons, and it'll show you what type of programs are being offered. So now with the icon, so if I go ahead, for example, let's zoom into this area. I'm going to go ahead and click onto this blue icon with the hat. Now this is going to be a middle school. So if I click on it, it's going to show Broad Oak School of Whittier College. And so what I did is I went to every website of these different middle schools, and I input into a spreadsheet the different programs that are being offered that were listed on the website. So for example, the middle schools are going to have quite a bit more. This is a private school, so they have a little bit less. But for example, what I try to do is input all the programs that they offered. I included a brief description if it was included in the website, and I also included some contact information. The neat thing about this is you could actually go ahead and click on the title of the program, and it would actually redirect you straight to the website that offers the program. So you can find out a little bit more information and about more of how you're able to apply to these programs. Now going back to here, you could kind of go around to the various cities, and it all works in a similar way. You have swimming here, for example, junior lifeguards, brief description, contact information, and of course clicking on the title will take you to the website. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, and now I'm going to start describing a little bit more on more of the social factors and the comparison part of this project. So this is really useful for a parent. Now, in a public health perspective, the idea of this project was to be able to compare to see if there were any gaps within these cities and programs being offered, and to see if it correlated in any ways with various other social factors. So if you move over to the Layers tab, it's going to show you a lot of different boxes you could click. So for the first 5 are going to be the locations. I recommend just leaving these checked because these are going to be the physical locations of the actual programs being offered. So I'm going to go ahead and check them all. Now, there's a good amount of them, so I'll try to go over a few. The first one is going to be the SPA 7 district. So by clicking this box, it's actually going to show you the outline of the boundary of the different SPA 7 districts. So clicking that, you can see the outlines, and it shows you really a neat little visual aid of where these programs are being offered. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck the box so it doesn't clutter the screen. Now here's the different various factors. So the second one I have here is employment and unemployment rates of those age over 16. Now the data was actually gathered from using the arcGIS database. Now because this is an open source software, there's a various public health type of employees and workers that are using this to map different types of programs. And a lot of information is already saved to this website. One of the things I really try to make sure of is whether this information is accurate and is recent. So for the most part, a lot of this information is coming from 2015 from the NDSC. Now, if you actually, I could show you a little bit more information about where that came from after this session. Now, with this, if I would click the checkbox, you're going to see that's going to open up a heat map type system. Now, there's a lot of different colors going on, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Legend tab to show you what the units actually represent. So you can see right here now, anything that's more of a lighter yellow shade is going to be a lower unemployment rate, and anything is going to be with a dark blue color is going to be a higher unemployment rate. A few more I've included, obesity hotspots. So this is a really interesting one. You could kind of see in comparison to the different cities. Here's the Whittier area, moving more towards the Los Angeles downtown area. Other ones include the age distribution of people between 18 and 24. And that again would open up this heat map system, and always going to the legend will show you the units. We have a few others such as education attainment, so essentially high school dropout rates. And if you click that, that's going to show more information. We have the income medium household. Clicking that will show you that there. Now here we have a few other ones. We have pollution. Here's an interesting one. These 3 are going to be crime rates within the cities. So by checking a box, you could actually see the location of when crimes are occurring. So I'm going to go ahead and just check all 3 boxes so you can really kind of see what is going on around the communities. And you can see it's all over here. It's a little cluttered just because there's unfortunately a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck these. Going down a little bit more, we have different education levels within the different areas. This is an interesting one. Going to the legend, you can see the different color represents the highest education attained. Now, one thing about this project that I really noticed is really the trend of a lot of the rates as you go from more the Whittier area, they typically tend to be a bit better. Really just depends on the region that you're at. So for example here, here's like the Whittier area. On average, it's, a high school graduation rate is pretty much achieved by many. But as you move towards more of the downtown Los Angeles area, you can see a lot of these rates actually start to drop. So these blue squares represent less than 9th grade education. And that kind of trend follows throughout the different type of rates. Even if I go to something, let's say back to obesity hotspots, you can see red representing increased risks, and the lighter shade colors is a better rate. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. So there's a few more homeless counts and also the Latino population as a percentage total. Now there's a lot of information here, so I encourage you all to just kind of click through it and see what it really shows. Now going to the other side of this, this is an online arcGIS database, and right now this is a public website, but I'm able to still edit this information using the actual arcGIS software, which is on this tab. Now, if anyone wants to be able to edit this information, I could always invite someone to edit this, and they would have full, ability to change, kind of improve some of these different factors. Now, this right here, I learned a lot of this information by going to talking to Doug in Commerce at the Department of Public Health. He really explained a good understanding of how this website works. Now, it's not too difficult once you kind of understand how the system works. But it does take a little bit of a training, but I could always show you if needed. Now going into here, this is just more information on how you could edit it. I'm not going to go into it right now just because it would take a while. But essentially, this is it. This is how this map was created. So let's say, for example, these different icons. I was able to input these icons by inputting the addresses off of my spreadsheets, and it would place a different, like a pin essentially on the map, and I'm able to edit, the different type of icons being available. So here I could edit, the different text. I could change the symbol of the icons, and yeah, it's very powerful software. You could change some of the base maps, but essentially, if you want to change some of the various social factors, you would just have to go to, I believe it's the Details tab, and here these different layers, they're called, are going to be the different factors you could view. Now, each one you can edit, the various information here, but I try to keep it optimized for this website.